Good morning, Writing 394. This is Professor Anderson with The Big Picture. Here's a quick little prezi that I put together to kind of give you an understanding of where this course takes you and what your expectations are. If you'll note in the syllabus, which can be found under the contents link at the top of the page on the course, there are 4 writing assignments. Writing assignment number 1, writing assignment number 2, writing assignment number 3, and writing assignment number 4. Each one focuses on a separate area of the compilation paper, which is writing assignment number 4. Now, while each one of these works in sort of targets a different area of the total package or all of the components of writing assignment number 4, they are not simply stitched together. It's the concepts that are worked out. So let me share with you what each one of these are. Writing assignment number 1 is called the communication barriers. In that, you will identify and label various communication barriers that you experience, and we all experience in our work life and our home life. So when we identify them, we're going to consider our workplace or our home life. We'll describe the environment, what it's like, where if you're choosing your work life, communication and barriers in your workplace, where is the building, or is it a building? Are there 500 people there, 200 people there? What's the main type of communication? Is it mostly email? Is it video conference? Is it, at the water fountain? What kinds of, what's the work environment like? And what types of communications go on in that work environment. And then describe 3 to 4, identify 3 to 4 of those inhibitors. Are they organizational barriers? Are they strategic barriers? Are they physical barriers? And inside of week 1, you will learn about all of those different types of barriers. After you describe them, then you will give some very real life examples of each one that you've selected. So say, for example, you select a physical barrier, and it is that everyone, 500 people inside of cubicles, and it's difficult to not hear the conversation of the person next to you. That is a very real communication inhibitor that you experience in your workplace. So what you'll do is you'll describe your workplace, identify some communication barriers that you experience, and then give real life examples of those barriers. Writing assignment number 2 is called the synthesis review of literature. So what you'll do in writing assignment number 2 is you'll take a problem that exists in your workplace or your home place, and you will research information or using our UMUC OneSearch online library. You will research that problem to understand the bigger picture of how that problem is manifest in a host of ways, and also specific to your organization or your home. Once you've collected that secondary research is research that someone else has done. You'll use 7 to 10 articles. You'll break those into 3 or 4 categories. So say we use those sound barriers as we have a big problem. We have 500 people located in one floor of an office structure, and we're in an open environment. So one of the things might be the physical sound. Another might be phone calls, like conversations themselves. A third one might be movement inside of there, and a fourth one might be trying to regulate the temperature inside of that room. So I'm just giving a quick and brief example of that. There are a host of ways that you can break down that one problem into categories, and that's what your secondary research, your synthesis of literature review, will do in general. Your third writing assignment is to learn you will write a memo to a decision maker, and in that you will identify the decision maker who could address the problem that you have noted. So you started off with your workplace, you're identifying some problems, you've targeted one specific area, and then you write to that decision maker, the person who could do something about it, and you say, I've noticed we have this problem here. I've done some research. and I'd like to conduct some primary research. So what you're doing is identifying the decision maker using a structured template, and we will use the one for UMUC for writing 394. And you will notice that in your place of work or your place of or wherever you work and however, or the organization that you might need to submit a memo, all of them have different types of templates. We're going to use this template for this course. And then you'll request permission to proceed, because while you may have identified a problem, it's not your place to move forward with the primary research until you get permission. And then you'll identify what kind of primary research you're doing. Primary research is the research that you do. You're going to survey employees. You're going to do interviews. You're going to take photographs of physical areas within a building or structure. So that's examples of primary research. And then finally, we get to writing assignment number 4. And this is where we kind of stitch together in a very precise way all the information that we've gathered. It has various components. And inside of those components, we'll see how the pieces of those individual writing assignments work together. So you will have writing assignment number 3 was a memo. Your paper, your writing assignment number 4, one of the components requires a letter to a decision maker. It's a transmittal letter. And it's not a specific memo. It's not exactly the memo, but it is targeting the decision maker and letting them know, hey, I've completed that primary research that you authorized, and here's the information. You'll include basically what writing assignment number 1 was. It becomes translated into an executive summary. And the executive summary gives an overview of the problem, the research, and the recommendations for solving the problem. And then let me try and scooch back to that slide here. Your writing assignment number 2, the synthesis of literature, then becomes translated into the introduction body, where you are submitting as evidence all of that secondary and primary research that you have gathered on the topic, and utilizing that information to develop and formulate a recommendation in terms of a resolution for the problem. So that's the writing assignment number 4. It has functions 4 basic parts. You identify a problem, you research the information, you request an investigation and conduct primary research, and then you report the findings. And that's really, in a nutshell, writing 394. So this is how all 4 of the writing assignments work together. And I hope that gave you a little bit of an understanding of the big picture of writing 394.